live at the door. All right. All right, you're good. You go inside. Good morning. We are pushing through. I have been sick for like a week, and the thing is that I wasn't going to miss this. There was no way, because I get to talk to the guy that like took like whatever we were doing and what like tons of bands are doing and like saw something in them. And I'm forever grateful to my dad, Jordan, from fucking We're Trying Records.
Oh my God. I'm fortunate to be here. I mean, I've seen the pod going crazy for the last year or so, and I'm like, I gotta get on.
It's been a really weird year. Like the podcast has been helpful for me in ways, because like I get to like it reminds me that I have like obligations, and not maybe just not obligations, but like I love music so much, and I love like early bands so much, and like this is my way of like giving back in a way of like letting people like tell their stories, and I want to hear more of these stories. I think people 100%. Need to like tell this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think it always comes down to what everybody says. It doesn't take any money to like post, repost, listen to music, any of that. Like it's all stuff you can do just like from like, obviously this is taking up like your time and some effort and like all the stuff that goes behind it, but it's just a good way, one, to like for you to connect with everybody, and also like I don't know, if 95 Kroll wants to play a show somewhere, maybe you've talked to somebody that you can make it work. So
that was the secret in the beginning. That's one of the main reasons why I started. I was like, well, it was the marketing idea. I was like, well, if I can't get them to talk to them as me as 95 Kroll, I could talk to them as the podcast and sneak my whole ass in there. It started that way, but it ended up
industry being like secret, right?
It was well, I worked in podcasting. I don't work in podcasting anymore, but it was, a lot of what I learned about podcasting is that it was a side of a business to like for SEO, for everything of like a good way to sneak in your business into other listeners. And I was like, oh, well, fuck, I could probably start interviewing bands and then they at least know about my band. But then I just fell in love with just like talking to everyone and like hearing these weird stories.
Definitely. When you listen to podcasts, do you listen through the ads or do you skip them?
To be completely honest, I don't listen to podcasts.
Oh,
I do. I used to. I listened to D&D shit. It was like Dimension 20, Critical Role. Like I'm too like fucking scatterbrained to sit down and listen to something for that long. Like I can listen to a record because it's like song, and it's like hitting my stuff. But like to hear like my wife loves like true crime shit, and and like so she'll point me to an episode and I'll listen to that. But like I'm not searching for podcasts. I feel like it's either you pick one or the other. Do you listen to both?
So like on my drives, I'll listen to podcasts just because. I don't know. I just need like a little break.
Sure.
Or I need like just something to like laugh to. But I stick to like 2 podcasts. I don't venture out too far. And it's like sports or like comedy. So like Conan Needs a Friend. He's the Call. Like, those are the 2 that I'm sticking with. If they don't have a new episode, I'm going to like music. But I can't listen to podcasts like when I'm working because my brain just can't do both of those things at once. So like throughout the day I'll listen to music, but I've been starting to get into like books on like audiobooks.
Sure.
It's been a cool experience, but I don't know. That's another thing. It's just like I can't function. I can't do something and listen to it at the same time. So I have to pick and choose with that.
The walk and chew gum thing is like that's my problem. Like I can have I could like the audiobooks thing you have to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Like it's like I have to listen to every single word. I have a hard time like reading as it is. Like
Yeah.
I used to do audiobooks when I worked like a customer service job back in Chicago. And I listened to a couple books and that was crazy and I was like, "Oh, cool, I could do that." But did I like can I tell you what happened in those books really? Not really. I was not like absorbing it 100%.
That I mean that's how it is when I read typically. It's like I'm in it, my brain goes off, and then it's like fuck, I gotta like go back. It takes me like forever to get a book done, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I don't
don't.
know.
I'm not a big reader. I should be. I have like a bunch of stuff that I've been wanting to read, and like I'm staring at them right now. Just like I need to actually read those.
Stacks up,
But
yeah.
like I think it's more. I want to put all that stuff on like an iPad and like read at night on that, and then just like shut it down. It's a hard thing to fucking get back involved in, like a kid.
Yeah. There's I mean, especially like when you get older, it's just like there's no time to
Yeah.
do everything in life. So pick and choose and yeah, I'm with you. Like the reading stuff, I was doing it pretty consistently last year and the year before. And I mean, for me, I was getting through like 4 or 5 books a year. And like
Sure.
that's like not a lot compared to like who I've spoken to recently, but
Some
it's
people
just
read so much.
it's so fast. I'm like, how like are you comprehending it? Are you just like going
Yeah.
through it? Like
Like honestly, go stop bragging. Go fuck yourself.
yeah,
Because I
yeah,
can't. I can't read that fast.
yeah. No, I'm with you on that. But
So here, there is something that's happening this year. Like you have it's 10 years now
oh
of
my
We're
God,
Trying.
yeah.
So like let's walk it back. Let's walk it back. Where are you like the month before everything starts? What sparked the whole thing? What was about doing this that you said, yes, I can do this? And then like we'll jump ahead like 10 years.
Yeah, man. So yeah, so I'm originally from Nebraska. I grew up on like a small, super small town, like less than 1,000. And I was in Omaha at the time. I was like going through college, and I was like, I don't really know what I want to do. Like business seems pretty cool, and I was like, you know what? Like I don't got anything keeping me here. Like let's try to get into music. Let's see how that is. Like it was right when I mean, I feel old saying this. It was right when like Spotify was like starting to like become more prominent in people's lives. So
Sure.
I was just discovering bands, like discovering bands. I was like, man, like there's just so much music out there. Like, let's see what we can do. And Omaha has like, I'm sure you're familiar with like Bright Eyes, like Jenny
Hmm.
Lewis, like Riley Kiley, all of them like signed to Saddle Creek.
Hmm.
And so I was just like, there's a good music hub here. Like, let's see what we can do to get involved with it. And so I started interning. I was interning at a music nonprofit for over a year called Here Nebraska, who would basically like cover the scene in Omaha. They branched out to Lincoln and then eventually started expanding and inserting like music initiatives into like Western Nebraska, where I mean, there's not a whole lot going on. It's very sparse, like a couple big towns out there, but like musicians don't usually drive from Omaha and stop along the way. It's usually like they're going straight to Denver.
Sure.
Um, so I worked with them for a while, and then throughout the process, throughout like going to school, I was interning at like 3 different labels, super small labels. So I had about like 4 things I was doing, and I was going to school. After I graduated, I didn't look for a job. So I was working like 2 or 3 like part-time jobs, and I was interning at 3 or 4 different labels around the area. And the whole idea was to eventually get into this master's program. I wanted to go back to school,
Yeah.
and some guy, this guy in Omaha, we met at a bar, and he was telling me about this music program and how he was going to get into it. He was in the scene. He was a little he was very, no, I wouldn't want to say arrogant, but he was very proud of himself. So he's like, I'm gonna get in, I'm gonna make it to LA. Like that's how it's gonna be. So I ended up applying for it eventually. But the whole idea of like gathering all this information, getting this experience was eventually to get into this program.
Mm-hmm.
And just by like looking at what everybody was doing, like how they were doing press and like how they were doing like outreach, like sync companies and booking shows and everything is just very DIY. And there was just, I mean, it basically just came down to like you had to put effort, you had to do research. And I was like, you know what? Like, I think I could do this. I know a handful of bands in the local scene that would be great to start with. And yeah, I mean, throughout that summer, I think it was like 2014, 2015. Must have been 2015. 2015, I just like worked getting logos together, all that. And right before I left Omaha to go to Austin, I signed two bands from Omaha, Super Ghost and I Forgot to Love My Father, and just did like I think one of the first like press things I did. I quoted just like, "Hey, like I'm just getting really good at using Google to figure this out," because there's no like rhyme or reason behind
No.
how to do anything. It's just you just got to do your research. You just got to talk to people. You got to ask people for things, see if they're interested, and like that's basically like all it comes down to, in my opinion. But yeah, 2015 September 1st, like we hit the ground running, and at that point, I was living in Austin. I was making friends within like the Austin community,
Cool.
and just started like expanding, like just reaching out on Bandcamp to bands that I liked. And like I remember like Kitty Hawk was like one of the first bands I was like trying to work with, and they had like whole different thing. Like Funeral Sounds was like a huge label at that point.
Wow.
It's just like completely different. Like Bandcamp was the thing that was like pretty crucial and like what everybody was flocking to at that point. Like it still does have a major piece in the scene, but since then, like the landscape has changed quite a bit. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, so now that like, the landscape has changed, what are the things that you missed 10 years ago? And what are the things that like, you love that's 10 years later? Like, we're like, let's compare and contrast like that,
Oh,
10-year version.
I feel like like the old man, like get off my lawn.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, 10 years ago,
Like, was it easier?
I don't know if it was easier. I think now because of like social media, like news gets around quicker. People who aren't even close to a band are able to like talk about them, hear about them, share their information. Now, one thing I can't stand. I understand the thought process behind it is the Spotify numbers, like trying to get to 1,000 like streams. Like I understand like why that's important and everything,
Yeah.
but like the outward facing numbers on the platform just don't describe like the full picture. There's different ways you can not game those numbers, but there's different ways you can boost the numbers. Like you can pay for streams, you can pay for bots, like you can get features, like all that to really like boost a track. But it really comes down to like looking at those numbers. They all could be coming from like one song. So it doesn't mean like your whole catalog or that band is being successful overall. It just might be like they had a hit or they had a viral song that really drives those numbers. So I think the other day I was looking at like the back end of an artist, and they had like not my artist, but they had like over 3 million streams like that over the last week, but 90% of those streams came from one song. And so everything they released after that was barely doing like maybe 1,000 a week on Spotify or like 1,500 on
Wow.
Spotify. So it's just like those numbers, because Spotify is a free has a free tier that anybody can listen to and that anybody can access for, I mean, which is only right. Like, it's just those numbers become like prominent and something that people look for to achieve. But I don't really truly believe like that is what like can fully describe a band. Like, I was just say somebody might have gotten like playlisting on Apple, or they have something really going on SoundCloud where they can like interact and do all these things. So I just don't think like that one platform could describe like the whole story behind a band or the success.
Yeah. Do you think that it's like virality, I think, is like the big concern right now? And like I've read articles and talked to, people, and you can kind of just feel it that like the record labels, the big ones, like, the big, Warner and RCA and like there's a confusion of like, well, virality doesn't translate. Like, I think there's like Olivia Rodrigo is like the last like person that they brought from like TikTok onto like the mainstream. And that's like the last one. Everything else is like kind of failed.
Yeah, I mean, it's hit or miss. Like, I remember like in my day job, like when I started working in music, like for my profession, like 7 years ago, that was like the prominent thing because TikTok started up. So artists were like trying to make TikTok songs. I'm doing air quotes if anybody can't see it. TikTok songs, or like in their music videos, they were purposely doing like they're doing TikTok dances that they thought could spark, which I mean, it makes sense. Like, it's good marketing, but it's like trying to force it upon like people to take, and sort of like people didn't really, or like listeners and fans didn't really take to it. But then I think once the pandemic hit and people were just like bored, or they're just glued to their phones, or they wanted to know what was going on, like TikTok took off and it really changed like everything about music now. So instead of like, and I'm not going to say like all artists, but instead of like chasing like a career and like putting out good music, a lot of these artists are just like
one song at a time.
They hit a song and it's like that's it, and then they just can't recapture the moment. So
yeah, I always feel bad. Like, there's people on TikTok that like will blow up for doing something dumb, right? And then
yeah.
and then like they'll try and do other stuff, but then it won't hit, and then they'll have to keep doing the dumb thing in order for that to keep hitting. Like, I always feel so bad for that, because I'm just like, oh no, the only way I get any attention at all is if I do this one cringe thing over and over and over again.
It's like, there's one I was talking about the other day. It's like people, I don't know how this is on my algorithm, but it's like making food for my blue collar man at like 4 a.m. and it's like this grease pit, and they're throwing like just like hot dogs or stuff. And I'm like, not saying there's anything wrong with that. It's just like, man, like people are entertained by like this, or it's like this one person is like, follow me as a 30-year-old like accountant. So it's like, sliding his computer in and like sitting at his desk and then like going to lunch, and it's just like, damn.
I love it. Like, there's something about like, I think that the way that we consume things is really strange. I found that like I'm always trying to find bands now, and I'm like, I want to like find the rarity thing has become more of like a thing this last year and a half, where it's also translated into like how I like how my algorithm is for like Reels and TikTok, where like I have like a couple of people that all we do is we send each other like, we're constantly looking for things that are like either less than 100 plays or less than 100 likes, like on Reels and stuff, like the this really weird stuff. Like, I feel like there's like this, like I think that we're hitting like, for some reason our algorithm is like, well, listen, we should probably send it to these guys first. And it's always like it's really, really strange. There was a period of time where there's a lot of like weird Christian like content of like that's like Christian EDM stuff. There's a girl that I follow that is just like she wears like triangles and stuff, and then is just like and like doing like this breakbeat thing, but like talking about God and Jesus. I'm like, this is the best. This is the fucking best. And there was like a period of time where there was just all these accounts that were like coming from India that were like just it was like from a really shitty phone talking about like what they had in the warehouse and to call them so they could sell like they were like, hey, we have 200,000 pounds of turnips. Please call us so that we can sell you and give you the best price. And like that was it. It was like we were just set, and it was like all this crazy weird just like glitch art on top of it. It was just like I feel like I'm seeing a whole nother world, and I like there's a horror movie there. I know there is.
Yeah. I think I've stumbled upon a few of those too, and it's just like what is going on? Like
it's awesome. It's so cool. I love the rarity stuff, and like it translates to music like in a really cool way too. And I feel like when you're looking for bands, do you, now that you're 10 years in, what has changed from like you like diving deep and then going into, or are you just kind of like using the same tools and they've just changed over the last 10 years?
Yeah, I think most of it has stayed the same. Well, I'm a big believer of like, if I have to like it, like I have to like, this is something I'm going to listen to in my free time. Like I feel like I love it. I'm going to listen to it all the time myself. So I think that's just like the big indicator. Like, I don't care if it's like brand new band. Like we just put out a track with Can You Not? Like that was their first single like ever. So if I like it, like that's just like the big indicator. But I think throughout like the 10 years, like just being burned on a few things, like I think like that's really shaped like some of the questions that I asked like leading into it. So I don't necessarily look at like the numbers, or like I'll look, but it's not gonna come into like the major factor. But just like some instances, like I know bands get burned by labels all the time.
Sure.
But I will say labels get burned by bands some of the time.
Sure.
It's just like one instance, like within the first 2 or 3 years, like based on like how some of the deals are set up, like we work with bands to help put physical out. It's not like one person covers everything, just because like I have to work a job. I know bands have to work a job to put money into it. So it's like each person has skin in the game to really push it. But at that point, I really wanted to work with this band. I offered to pay for all the physicals, knowing that they would pay me back. And like after we got everything, they hit me and like, hey, you know what? Like we're moving on to the next thing. We don't want to promote this. We don't want to help you sell it. Like we're moving on. So it's just like, okay, but like that's not what we agreed to. And it got to a point where it's just like, I'm not working in the industry. Like we're in this DIY scene. Like they're in the DIY scene somewhere else, and they pull the like, hey, that's just part of the industry, man. And I'm just like that. You don't like, that's not true. Like,
no, it's not.
That's not it. That's just like you being shitty. So yeah, after that, it's just like, okay, well, we have to change like how these deals are in place so that each person feels obligated to support and push it and not move on. Like there's a financial incentive. So
everyone should have some skin in the game.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not in this one area that you're going to have skin in the game, you're going to have skin in the game in another area, whether it's like you're going to be helping support, unless it's like a big label. But even then, like the artists have to recoup after a certain time, so you're not making money, or like you get an upfront advance, which not all artists do, but some artists like blow through it on stuff that's not related to like living and music. So in some shape or form, like you are going to have to pay back or be responsible for some aspect of your career financially. Yeah. So whether it's recouping what was provided up front, paying for some of the physical up front, or if it's in some instances, like some labels ask for a pretty significant chunk of like your streams, like profits, digital stuff. So yeah, I think it's just like it's gonna happen in some way. I just think it's just like shaped differently in some deals that I've seen.
Do you see the business model of like Spotify, Apple Music, this thing of like kind of free music in a way? Uh, do you see it sustainable, or do you see it like cracking at some point, like due to like, you know, because right now like artists have never it's never been worse for artists
Yeah.
like it's like I'll just like just, just I said it out loud. It's completely true. It's never been worse for to be like in a band right now. Like like
Oh, what is it?
there are great labels. There are great DIY labels that are y'all's that are like here to support, but like on like the bigger scheme of everything, like our community of like maybe 6,000, 7,000 people that are all buying each other's records and like keeping everyone like that's it. It's just like this small group of people that are like helping each other out. Outside of that, in the larger scheme of things, it's completely fucked. Like, where do you see like this industry going? Because not only do you work in it, like in your day job, but like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, where do you see like this thing going? Because then it'll finally be at like double the life of itself.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just like speaking on like Spotify streams or like streams in general, it was like we were told like 1 million streams equals like $3,500 on Spotify. So
Wow.
it's like, yeah, it's insane. So fair point on your part. Yeah, I mean, just looking at what has happened, like making like uploading things more accessible to anybody, which is fair. Like before distribution companies, before streaming, I mean, there's payola, so only a few
Mm-hmm.
bands who had enough money or labels who had enough money could really put their bands out there to get noticed. So at least now it's like there's a fair shot, or like quote unquote fair shot. Like anybody can upload, anybody can promote themselves. You
Yeah.
can get business around yourself. But I think there's too many ways to consume like media, music, everything. But it also, if you cut down on that, then it goes back to like providing power to and like only a few entities. So like they would dictate like who gets to listen to what, sort of like what radio used to be.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
we're fucked anyway, no matter what. Like, it's like Spotify. I wonder if that's how, if like you go back in time and Spotify pitched itself as like we are finally the equal playing field, and like that's an interesting positive take on Spotify. Anyone can be on it. You don't have to pay the radio stations. Like, there's a famous thing from like T-Pain. He was like, if you want to have any song released, you better have $100,000 to start to pay fucking radio stations. Like
yeah,
that's the requirement. That's like the first threshold is like you need 100K. And like
yeah.
that's ridiculous.
Well, I think like now, I mean, even radio, it's still like companies really should be, but most times companies like save like only tracks that are by bigger artists or like that have like some life or have seen some success for like a few months. If it's a developing artist, like they'll wait for a few months to really like gauge and see if it's worth the financial investment to take it to radio. I mean, bigger acts, like they're gonna go straight to radio for it. But
Mhm.
it's just like the budget is like has to be like insane to like go to stations. And really it's just like one, it's like you're charting and you have the potential to hit a number one and it looks good on a resume. And I guess like parts of the country still do consume their music through radio, so that is a benefit. But to your point, it's just like the budget has to be massive to go to radio. Whereas like
Yeah.
streaming, like now, like a lot of conversations are like, like, well, you pay $10 for a distro kit so you can get it up like within like a week or so, I would say. And it comes down to like promoting, like an artist promoting. So you can do it for free. Like you can do TikToks, you can do whatever. talk, like connect with people on Twitter, Discord, everything. So I just think there's like too many ways to consume it, but it all comes down to, I think the core thing is just like a fan base. Like, how are you, like, who's your fan base? Because they're the ones that are really going to go like stream. And I think the most important thing, like, they're the ones that are going to go like buy merch, go to shows where artists are going to see more money in their pocket rather than from like a few streams and like not really potentially like getting out there. So I really still do believe like developing the fan base, it's easier said than done. Just like getting out there playing shows and really pushing merch outside of streams is like the key thing. And hopefully like that translates back to some of these streaming platforms. But 10 years from now, I think I think it's all just going to like get more condensed. Like you already hear like Amazon wanting to buy TikTok, or you see all these platforms starting to like starting to add like video content. Like you can do Spotify clips, or like SoundCloud has something similar to that. But I think just like all these video elements are starting to add in. And I also think like there's only like you're going to hit like a limit on the amount of like subscribers you can get to a platform. So it's really going to depend on like what other things are happening with the company outside of just like their music platform. So like if you look at Apple, they have Max, they have like a whole different infrastructure that helps support like the music portion of it. Like Amazon, like they're a beast. Like they have so many different things. So I think it's just going to come down to like what else you have going, what else do these platforms have going on? And just like I think it's just going to get more condensed into like what people or like what they're offering, so they can just keep everybody on their platform and not have to like go watch a video somewhere else or have an experience somewhere else. They can all do it in the one place. They can buy merch in the one place. Like it's everything's going to be in one spot. So little scary, but I don't know. I think just your fan base is the thing that's going to keep you growing and separated from a lot of these people.
There's a really weird thing happening in like Spotify, which is this weird, and it's happening. I would say it's strangely happening again because it happened in like 2014 with like Facebook's pivot to video. Like there is like another pivot to video happening.
Yeah.
And like there's this really weird like the first pivot to video like destroyed. I would say that was the beginning of the end of journalism in itself. Like of like the written, if anyone remembers that, you and I'm old. I'm 30 fucking 7. Like I remember when that all happened.
A little there.
Like I remember when that happened, or at least when like people talked about like, oh, it's gonna be pivot to video. It's when no one knew that it was. Well, I guess people probably knew it was gonna be bad, but like there's this thing that. No one knows, Facebook said that they were going to prioritize video content rather than written content on Facebook itself. And so all these journalist companies started telling their journalists, you either need to make video content or you're fucking fired. And then I believe that then Facebook started faking their numbers for video content, and they got in huge trouble, but like all these companies fucking fell apart. And we're seeing it again where now you can add video content and video podcasts to your podcasts on Spotify. Wow. You can do the same thing. You can add all these weird video stuff to your music. There's like this weird thing where they're like, okay, hey, music, you now have to have video content. And it's like this weird, it's a really strange thing that I'm not sure. Like when I think of like the future of like what it's like to have to be in a band and all these weird hoops you have to jump through, like video is not something that most people are even thinking about, like at all.
Well, it's like I think everybody's just like competing with this stuff because they see like how like TikTok does it and it translates over, so they think like that can they can do it as well, but it's just like, but everybody's doing it. So like YouTube has shorts, but they're
Yeah.
also now you're seeing like long form video coming back. So there's now an emphasis on creating like official music videos and everything like that. But I mean, I find myself doing it all the time. I'm just like on my phone, head down, like
Yeah.
in it. And it's just like to your point, like I think people just found out how addicting video is and like how like your instant gratification in your head when you just hit the thing and it refreshes and you get fed like the stuff from India or whatever.
Yeah, dude.
And it's just like people just get more and more and more sucked in, and I don't know if I don't want to speak for everybody, but like what we were talking about earlier, like reading a book, like it's a lot more effort than just like watching a video and having it like in your face.
Like,
So it's just like
it's ridiculous. Like, I feel like I've watched like all of Moneyball like 600 times in 1 minute chunks.
oh,
For some reason, I just keep getting Moneyball and like just these perfect
is it
viral moments of Moneyball, and I've watched them hundreds of times. And
is it like is it the whole movie? And like,
I've probably seen the whole movie
are you getting
now.
fed it in like
I've been fed it like in these
like,
viral 1 minute chunks of that movie, where it finally, after like 600 like clips of this, I finally sat down and watched it, and I was like, man, I fucking love that part of that movie that I've seen that 1 minute of, and I finally sat down and watched it, and I was like, oh, it was awesome. Like I'm constantly getting like, there's just some kind of thing where like, I've seen I almost started Supernatural over just because they keep playing this a couple of clips from it. I'm like, oh my god, these guys are so funny.
Yeah.
Or like there's just so much, or the show Billions. Like, I'm constantly seeing shit from the show Billions, and I'm like, it's like, it's just, Billions is like, I don't know, there's something just, it's like, for like, the concept of alpha male is like not real, but it's for the mystical alpha male content. It's like, it's about money and trading stocks and doing this and going against China, and like, well I know more than you did, and I'm gonna go against the SEC, and it's just like, it's all these just the fucking like crypto bro like buzzword shit. It's hilarious.
I guess like from your perspective, like what's it like balancing your art, like creating music and feeling the pressure to also, because I feel like Twitter and like some of these spaces that you are very active on are less like heavy lift, but like when it comes to creating video and thinking about content and like all that shit, like does it take away from the joy? Like, is it
no? I have like this Morno series, right? I have, the way I decided to do it, where I was like, okay, if I'm gonna have to make video content, I want to make something that's really simple, and I want to make something that has like a brand, and I wanted to like, I wanted like a word associated. I thought about it for like kind of a while, where I was like, what would be like, how do I give back? Because I feel like the way that I wanted to do it was, I wanted to give back in a way. The same kind of marketing where with the podcast of like, if I start a podcast where I'm talking to bands, it also helps me out, and it's a total win-win to lift other people up. So I was like, okay, well, I've got this cute ass fucking sunroom. What if I just like, it is cute. Like,
it's cute. It's great. I'm like, wow, I wish I had that.
Like, I've got this cute little sunroom. I was like, okay, well, what if I'm just like, what if I just don't talk about 95, and I just like promote like a new song, or like a song that I love right now for 30 seconds, and I just drink some coffee, and I do it every morning, Monday through Friday. And I was like, okay, well, that's content. That's good. I can start doing that, and that's just easy. Like, I don't have to think about it. It takes me like, I think 5 minutes to make that thing. and it's to remind myself to do that. Like it's harder to do that.
Yeah.
It's harder to like start those things. I think that's my rule for TikTok and Instagram, because I just post the same thing in both. Like boom, done, good.
Yeah.
And Twitter is, I think, this the easiest. Like, and I've told a lot of people, like, just get on fucking Twitter and Blue Sky and just talk shit. Like that's it. Like, and just talk shit and just be dumb and like just talk to like everyone and just like pretend you're a person rather than like a band. Like I think it's if you can like relate to other people, I think that's the best way to like do all that stuff. I think I thought about it a lot before I even started, to like make sure I knew what like the brand was going to be. But like, sometimes it can be like, oh, well, I started something and now it's too late to change. Like there's a lot of like weird and like, I think that it doesn't fucking matter. Just start doing stuff. Like it's really, really hard to like come up with something that you want to do, like to promote your band. I don't. I think that's why I started this podcast, is because I want to hear what people want to do. And I think that like I probably got the idea of doing the Mono series or something else from talking to someone in the early days of this podcast, because like I used this whole thing as like a way of like picking everyone's brains. Like, how are you doing this? Isn't this fucking hard? Like that's the whole thing, is that, hey, this is fucking hard for everyone. It should be more like, let's give each other advice on like how are you doing this, your day job, like how are you balancing both, like and actually I'll move straight on to fucking that. How balance, you work in music, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and both rooms have to do with music. What is it easy to balance your thing?
Oof. I would say yes and no. Yes, because like when I look at it as like as a whole, like my day job is paying for my, like it's providing me with for my bills, for food, for shelter, helps me with the label. So obviously like that for me is like, man, I got to keep that going. I don't want to compromise it, because you just like, I've seen people mix their personal endeavors with like their job, and sometimes people don't like it, and that's it. But on the flip side, it's like I like when I first got to LA and I was really starting out, I was waking up at like 4:30 in the morning or 5 to like just like research radio stations, get their contact info, and like put everything together, and then just get everything set up for the day so I wouldn't have to worry about it throughout the day, and then hit it again at night. But pretty similar situation. I'm not waking up as early to do everything, but I mean, it's like late. It's just at night, I'll come home, get everything set up for the next day. And then if like I'm responding to emails, like that's usually how it goes. And then the weekends, it's pretty much, I spend a lot of my weekends just like getting Stat Jams playlist set up, making sure merch goes out. Like we work with a lot of bands that have their merch, and so just trying to coordinate with them to make sure it gets out. And so it's just like whatever free time I have, it goes into the label. So it's definitely something like I love, and it's like I compare it. I've never been in a band, but I compare it to like a band. Like you spend all your free time working on it, thinking about it, and it's just something like you really have to care about and be passionate about to keep it going. To just have some sort of success, or just like really want to be in it. So I did a few, like, was it last year or 2 years ago? I got encouragement from people that I work with to like start talking about it more, to not be so secretive with it, because I think there are a lot of people who, they'll talk to you because like that's about your, because of what your day job is, but they really want to know like what you're doing, like what's cool, like. So I think the DIY perspective, it brings like totally different ideas to a table where you have like thousands of dollars to spend on like marketing and pushing an artist, where it's just like, you know what, like, what are we doing that doesn't cost anything? Like, what can we do for free? How do you interact with people? And I think like some of the simplest thing is just like, to your point, like what you're saying on like on Twitter and everything, just like interact with people, interact with bands, like have a personality. Like, you don't have to be so exclusive or seclusive to, make it seem like you're a big deal. Like, I remember in one class I had, a brand professor was telling me, I was still doing, like, I showed him my label and I was like, yeah, I would love your perspective on like what I could be doing different. And within the first 5 minutes, I was like, this guy doesn't like, I'm sure he knows what he's talking about, but like, I totally disagree. The first thing he said was like, because our websites were trying records and you can't have an apostrophe in it.
Sure.
And he's like, your website looks like it's not conveying your name. It's like it's spelled wrong. It's saying we're trying, not we are trying. He's like, you should change that. And I was like, okay, yeah, all right, noted. And then he's like, your socials, like you're following too many people. You need to look like it's more exclusive. And I was like,
this guy's coming from like an old school way. That's such
100%.
an old school way of thinking about it.
100%. And I was like, fair point, but like he's pointing out like these big examples. I was like, yeah, to your point, like I understand like they're doing it and it works for them, but like they're at a point where they can do that. Like, this is like about community. It's about talking with people. It's about like this. We're not too cool for anything, you know? And he's like, yeah, I really think those are like the two things that you should start with. He's like, I'll look at everything else. And I just never went back to him. I was like, I don't.
Yeah, it's like, listen,
like,
checked off all the things that I'm like, cool, we're good. So when I went to this school of sound design in Chicago. It doesn't exist anymore because it's like it was fucking like not a real thing. It was like this really weird like pop up trade school that just like went fucking defunct within like 4 years. But there's a guy that was it was broken down between like music and film and then like marketing. That was like the three different like courses or like branches of the school. And like I was friends with the people in film and the people in sound worked. I think there was a video game section too. People in film and sound worked really really well together. And I'm friends with a lot of people in the film thing. And there was a guy that was like, well, I gotta I'm going to start my own production company. And I was talking with my brother, and my brother's always told me that I've got to, show like luxury in like my name. I've got to use like, gold throne, like power. I got to convey power and like control and all this stuff. And I remember just looking at him going, why? What the fuck is it? Like, if you look at like any of the like any famous like production companies, they don't that's not true of any of them. Like not for a single fucking second.
Well, it's like who's your audience? Like who like tailored to that audience that loves like the luxury and like
it was just like it's just you wanted to sound important. Like it's just like there's just some people, there are rules that people follow that are just like, there's sometimes you hear something and you just the red flags go off. And, and it's just like, cool, I'm good. I don't, thank you so much. But like, you're officially like, you're not in the Rolodex of advice givers.
Yeah. Or it's like, that might work for like what you're thinking about, but it's like, you haven't spent time like talking with these people or being around it or being in that community to like fully understand and give an opinion. Like, it's like a textbook opinion.
Yes.
It's like, this is how it's always done. It's like, okay, well, that doesn't like apply here, or it doesn't always work that way.
No, totally. It's really strange. It's really, really strange. Well, listen, I want to play a song from the catalog. I think that I want to play the Can You Not song because that just fucking came out. I think that'd be sick as fuck to play.
Let's do it.
So here, hold on. Let me fucking get it pulled up. We're not gonna actually listen to it. I just want to make sure because I can just edit this. Can you not? Also, I love that name.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's one of the guys in Monday. He started his own thing.
is it Can You Not exclamation point or like question
Question
mark?
mark, and then the track is thanks but no thanks.
Funny.
Lots of punctuation in that one.
Yeah, thanks, but I'm on Apple Music. I wonder where the fuck it is.
Should be there.
Thanks, but no thanks. Huh. Weird. It's not showing up on Apple. What'd you do? Wait, hold on. There it is.
Embarrassing.
Can you not? Okay, cool. All right. So this is Thanks but No Thanks by Can You Not. Magical editing times, magical editing times. Awesome. That was Thanks but No Thanks by Can You Not, which was released by War Train Records, run by the homie Jordan. Dog, thank you so much for fucking hopping on and like doing this thing with me and like yapping. Just you're killing it. I'm so happy to be a part of this thing, and I think that 10 years is huge for a fucking label. Congratulations.
I appreciate that. I remember you were putting out music and I kept pestering you. I was like, hey, like this is awesome. Like, let's do something. It was like
It was
four
the
or
best
five
decision.
tracks in, and I was like, come on, like, let's do
Please.
it. And fine, I was like, oh my God, finally. I was like, okay, thank you. So
Well, I'll just to tell that little story. It was we were on something else, and it was like some Nashville DIY thing. And like they've changed their name already. And it was we were so unhappy about it because the only thing that they cared about, there was no online presence at all. There was no like relationship at all. They only had like an Instagram and they posted like very little. They still only have an Instagram and post very little. And you reached out, and like I'll never forget, like I told my wife about it. I was like, Lex, there's like this really cool label, and I don't want to be a dick to like the person that I'm with right now. Like, but this seems like a huge opportunity. And she was like, what are you fucking thinking? Just do it. Just do it. And like I just ended up, there was a moment where like it was like 6 weeks before the record came out,
yeah.
where I was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just pulling the trigger. I emailed my guy and I was like, we're done. There's like, there's nothing that has been a positive experience about this. These guys like actually want to work with us, like, and we're just gonna do it. And it was just like it was the best decision we've made. Like the relation, I love the relationship. First of all, we're buds. That's great. But like outside of our little personalities, like the 95 we're trying thing is just like I'm not fucking going anywhere. This is great.
Man, I appreciate it. And yeah, I'm a big believer on not like trying to take people from wherever, but in that instance, it was very much just like, hey, like if anything comes up, like
Yeah, you wanted to work with us.
like yeah,
You never were like, come here.
Fucking leave them. Fucking leave them.
No, you were just like, listen, is there any way we can work with this? I just want to help. Like, I just want to hang out. And it's so funny because it was just like, there was no, and like, I remember asking that guy, I was like, well, they want to help. And they were like, no. And I remember just being like, this is bad. This is not good. I like these guys a lot.
Yeah, I think at some like I've been approached when we're like putting out a project and another will be like, hey, like what do you think about this? And I'm like, like if it's gonna help the band and it's gonna help me because we'll get like cross promotion, I'm like, let's figure it out. Like let's make it work.
Yeah, like it's a collaborative experience.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
And that's like the whole thing. Like when we approach bands, it's like, hey, like I really want to work with you. Like if you have something come up, let me know. If you're working with somebody else, not a big deal. Like, and I always end it like, I'm gonna support you no matter what, but I really would love to work with you. Like, just keep it up. And obviously it doesn't work out. Like I don't know how many bands we've reached out to in the past, but I think it's just like underlying, like, I think this would be cool to do together. But if you decide to go some other way, like, we're still going to do whatever we can to like push it and help you succeed. And so
listen, you guys, you are trying. You are trying.
Yeah. Don't oversell it. We're giving our best shot, and like wherever it goes, like that's what's going to happen. So
hell yeah. I mean, you even got like the biggest label hater in the world, Will Green from fucking Full Blown Meltdown. You got like the stamp. Yeah. You did get the stamp of approval.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like I'm really interested. I haven't talked to him, but only through socials. But I'm really interested to hear like what his experience was like.
I'm weirdly in Full Blown Meltdown.
I saw that too. Yeah.
So Will and I are like close, and so like he was just in a bunch of metalcore bands in like the late 2000s, early 2010s, and just like got fucking railed by labels just over and over again. And he was just a drummer like in all these bands, and he was just like, "Fuck this." Will is jaded, and he has every right to be. And you getting that stamp of approval is like you've like went through the hard outside to the soft candy center of Will. It's so good. And so yes, We're Trying Records is like, if you've gotten that stamp of approval, it fucking means something.
Oh yeah.
All right, well listen, dog. You have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for fucking helping.
Me too. Feel better. I
will, big dog. I'll talk to you later.
All right, later.
Bye.
You didn't think I wasn't going to play a song, did you? Well, here is one of the most recent releases from We're Trying Records. This is Kirkland by Beat Shop.
Dopamine hits my brain before the bowl hits my lips. Is this how you felt? Is this why you couldn't quit? I've gotten over the sadness and I deal with the stress, but the anger's always inside me. Can't let it out. It's all I have left. Can't let it out. It's all I have left. living my life like I want to impress you, reaching for something that I can hold on to, looking for gold that will stay here forever, wasting my time, it's a pointless endeavor.